Hello, everybody. Welcome to my live concert stream tonight on this Sunday. It's like last time, it's 11 p.m. here. So um, it's very good that I have this digital piano because it doesn't make any noise when I play this way. So that's very good. I'm very grateful for this. I hope you are all very well. Today, as I announced already earlier on Patreon, today I have something very special planned for you. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of my upcoming album that I've been working on in the last few weeks. So I'm about halfway done with writing, and this Sunday I'm going to play today. I'm going to give you a little bit of a taste. I'm gonna present some first how do you say? As you can see, I'm very nervous. I'm stuttering here. So I'm going to present some very first looks into the what I've been writing and what I will be releasing in in a little bit. So you guys, of course, are the only ones and the first ones who will hear all of that. Hello, who do we have here? So hello, Prince Amat. Nice to see you. And hello, Mario. Welcome. So I'm going to wait a little bit for everyone to gather. And also, so we've been testing a little bit tonight to set up the stream. And the first few seconds of me playing ended up, we did several tries, and they ended up with a really distorted sound. So I'm just going to try out a little bit for you, and then it settled. So maybe it's just the first few seconds. I'm not so sure, but I want to just play a little bit so that it won't be distorted when I start playing. Hello, hi, nice to see you all. Ishmam and Jack, welcome. Oh yeah, also, as you will see, I don't have to switch my chords anymore from microphone to piano because we bought a new audio interface. So so I won't be having to switch anymore, so that's a good thing. All right, so I'm just gonna play a little bit to get the sound used, because I don't want to hurt your ears. A little bit of C major there. So I hope it's settled down. So yeah, then shall we begin? Oh, hi Shirley, hi Kara. Welcome. All right, so as always, as you know, I like to start off my concerts with a little bit of classical music. And this time I prepared Impromptu by Franz Schubert, one of my favorite composers. And I don't play a lot of Schubert anymore, but I used to play it a lot when I was younger. And actually this piece I chose for today because this past week, one of my teachers when I was younger, I took Skoda, and he was a brilliant Austrian pianist, one of the greats, and he had such a beautiful sound, and he taught me a lot about musicality, and he taught me a lot about Schubert, actually. And so in memory of him, I chose this piece because I remember him playing this when I was taking master classes with him. I distinctly remember him playing this. So here is an Impromptu by Schubert. That reminds me so much of my teacher, Albert Wasmuda. The next one. Oh, yes, sorry. I forgot to use the microphone. Sorry. So I just said this is the Schubert piece that reminds me so much of my old teacher who passed away this past week, Paolo Durascoda. The next piece today is also a classical piece. It's by German composer Felix Mendelssohn, who I always like to play as well. I like to play all music. I think every time I say I play something, I say, "Oh, this is my favorite composer," or "This, I love this piece." But it's true. I mean, I wouldn't choose it if I didn't love playing those composers or pieces, of course. Self said. But this one is a piece from Songs Without Words from Felix Mendelssohn that I used to play, I think, when I was a teenager. And it is a Venetian gondola song, Venezianisches Gondellied. Mendelssohn has 2 or 3 of these in his collection of the Songs Without Words. And as the title says, of course, it is reminiscent of the songs that those gondoliers sing in Venice when they're on their boats. And so there's a rhythm of kind of the water or the paddling or the waves clashing on the gondola, if you will. There's just a kind of like a gondola swing, basically. This one's a little bit of a melancholic one. Yes, so this is a Venetian gondola song, Venezianisches Gondellied. It sounds better, I think, in German. But anyways, this is the Venetian gondola song. This was the very minor, as in minor key, the Venetian Gondola song by Felix Mendelssohn from his collection of songs without words. I don't know if you could hear those gondola swings or kind of the romantic up and down of the water that made up the beat. That's what I love about those characteristic or those character pieces, because it's just, you know exactly, or you can see or hear what's behind it, what's kind of the story behind the piece. I like that very much. All right, so now let's go on to the sneak peeks. So as I said about, I've written a few songs, and now those songs are in the so-called review stage. So that means that I wrote them the way I think I want them, and then I practice them and I learn them, and then I figure out if there's any kinks that I have to kind of work out. And so that is what I'm doing with these pieces. So I have 3 pieces for you today, and I want to tell you a little bit about the album. So the album, as I've told you before, is going to be an album of Naruto soundtrack, the original series. And the way I work is I hear the soundtracks from the original soundtracks. I listen to them, and then I play. I write all the voices down first, and then I decide which ones I want to fit into my piano, the piano part, of course, because as we know, piano, we only have 2 hands with piano, so it's usually impossible to fit all of the voices of especially an orchestra song or a song with more than 2 or 3 instruments. It's usually impossible to fit everything into it. So there's a big part of my work is to decide which ones to incorporate into the piano version and which voices to ditch, basically. Sometimes I end up using half of one voice and then a half on another one. So that's it's a big part of the writing process, and I think is one of the hardest parts. So that's what I've been doing, and sometimes I also make something new out of the piece that I hear. So I've done that with the Ghibli as well. So I love doing sort of variation work. So taking a melody that is on the soundtrack that might be a very short melody, and that's usually on soundtracks there are the soundtracks, because they're written for a video, of course, there are a lot of themes that are very short. And what I love to do is to kind of expand on those and make variations on them. I've done that in the past, and I have done it for this Naruto album so far. And one of those I'm going to play for you today. But first, so the album is sort of a concept album. It's basically what I want to do with the album is I want you to walk through. I want to give you a walk through the series. Basically, I want to introduce you to characters and to the village and kind of like just the series. So it consists of shorter and longer pieces, sometimes medleys. And what I'm playing today is I'm going to play 2 shorter pieces and 1 longer piece. So I'm going to start with what I think will be the very first piece of the album. I have to open the iPad because I have it on my iPad, which is one of the themes of the village that Naruto plays in, that is based in. And it's called the village is called Konoha, and it's sort of an intro piece. So this is Welcome to Konoha. So this is the intro to the album is going to be, and as you can hear, there's some kinks I have to figure out still. So this is the first time I've performed this, and I just finished writing it last week. And here you can hear how I kind of made those, I kind of consolidated several of the voices into two hands. So what you heard up here, that's the piano voice in the original song, and then and then there's the other voice that is in a the main voice basically is this one. That is originally up here actually. But because I'm already playing this, and I can't fit it into the same register because it's exactly the same notes. So I had to figure out where to put it. And I also had to decide which of the voices sounds better in which registers, because I also could have put the main voice up here and then the other one here. But I personally thought that doesn't sound as good as up here. And the main theme, or the theme, sounds just as good down here. And then there's a third voice, and it is this one. That's basically the bass voice, and that one is in the same register. But then I have the problem of the theme spanning over a certain part that I can't reach with just one hand because I'm playing other things with each other hand. So I have to divide the middle part, the theme, into my middle, into the middle basically. So I'm playing the theme with both hands, with like basically mainly the thumbs of both hands, whereas the other fingers on each hand do something else. So that's one thing. I really love writing these things, and I love thinking about all of these things. And there are some other voices coming with, and so I had to decide which ones to keep and which ones to ditch. But anyways, so this is my first show basically of this one piece. All right, so the next one in the for review that I wanted to show you today. Let me read. Oh, great, Jack. Oh, yes. You're in for a treat. Naruto is my favorite anime, and the music is just really great. Anyways, so this next piece I want to play for you is called Loneliness. And so Naruto himself, the main character, is a young ninja. He's very young. He's a very young teenager. I think he's about 11 or 12 when the series starts. And he's growing up, and he grew up without parents. And I'm not going to give away the whole story, but basically he's always alone because he's also an outcast. So the main theme the main Naruto theme is very upbeat, but there's always these times when he feels lonely and different. And so I thought this was a very, very interesting and very important, of course, part of the whole thing. So Loneliness is another short interlude that I'm going to play on the album, and I wanted to present it to you. This is just the Loneliness theme, and I'm going to kind of attach it to something else so that I still have to work out. So, but this in itself is kind of also a closed piece. Right, this is Loneliness. All right. So this was another sort of an interlude piece. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoy the insights. I hope I'm not boring you here, but I thought it's interesting to see because I'm very busy with writing right now, and I don't. I know I'm not posting very much, so I think because I when I get in the zone, I kind of get in the zone, and so I thought I'd just let you in a little bit of my process, so you know that you know how this whole thing kind of gets to be what it is. Excuse me, I need a sip of water here. All right, now we're getting to the last piece of today, and this is one of the longer ones. I think this is gonna be one of the longer ones on the album, actually. So this one is one that I actually announced last month to you guys, and I played the melody for you, and it's the melody of Despair that is in one of the unreleased soundtracks, and it just really caught my ear, and I couldn't forget about it, so I knew I'd have to put it on the album. Not last week, last month, I played the simple version um, for you, and I also gave you the sheet music actually for that one. And this month, so in the meantime, I wrote a whole piece out of it, and this is one of those where I wrote sort of variations with it because it's a short. On the original is just a short piece of maybe a minute where the melody comes once or twice, and with two different instruments. So that's already kind of varied. So I thought, why not write variations? And then I also kind of did some freestyle kind of how do you say almost improvisation in the middle, just to kind of build up on some kind of just accompaniment that was kind of empty on top. So I wanted to build up on that, and then I just kind of made up some semi-virtuosic thing. So this is my version of Despair from the unreleased original soundtrack of Naruto. So this was Despair. And yeah, so these are the variations. And now I'm going to go back and work some of those kinks out. And I hope you enjoyed some of the sneak peek or the kind of look into what I'm working on currently. So what my work is in the next few weeks is I'm going to leave these, kind of set these aside and let them kind of how do you say, like, relax a little bit, and let my mind relax a little bit about them. And then in the meantime, I'll finish writing the other pieces, and then I'll take these out of the review, and then I look at them again and try them properly, and then yeah. So that's my workflow basically. So I write down the initial melodies that I want to incorporate. Then I sit at the piano, and that is listening. Then I sit at the piano and I play them, and I figure out which voices go where, and variations. I figure out the variations. I figure out the harmonies. I figure out basically the skeleton of what I want to play. And then I practice it. I change some things during that, and then I'll let it rest. And then after a few weeks, I'll take it again and I'd take a hard look at it. And then I modify some things that I'm not really happy about yet. So yeah, so this is my workflow for an album, and now I'm basically in the middle of it. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. So now, if you have any questions or anything you want to talk about, of course. Great, I'm really happy that you enjoyed it, Jack. Yay, I'm really excited to release this album actually, and to write on it, because this is really a great soundtrack, and I think it'll be good on piano too. And yeah, I really can't wait to kind of show you my version of them. So I hope you all had a great week. If you have any questions, of course, let me know. Great, Kira. I'm very happy. It's still really hot here. I just want to throw that in there. It's still around 30 degrees, and it's October, so I'm kind of suffering a little bit from that in my office room. By the way, this is a little bit of a different setup than last month, because this is my workstation. So I usually have the piano, or last time I had the piano on this wall behind you guys from your perspective, but now I moved the piano to directly in front of the computer, and then I have the monitors here so I can hear, and I have the computer screen right there, so I can work and write directly from here and modify and everything. So it's a really great setup. I'm very happy about it. Oh, Jack, it feels pretty great. Thank you for asking. We're very happy. Thank you. It feels different. It feels very grown up, but it feels very, very good. Thank you. That's right, Jack. You were here. That's great. I would love to hear about your trip. I hope you had a great time. And yes, I mean, summer here is very, very, very hot and humid. And that's the thing here right now as well. It's still very humid. And I think that's also what makes it still pretty hot. Yeah. Oh, great. Ishmam, you're in Sydney. Wow. So that's a different, is that a different time zone than Japan? It must be pretty late for you. Wow. That's great. I didn't know you were in Australia. I have still not been to. I still haven't been to Australia. I would really like to go. I've heard great things about it. Yeah, 2 hours ahead, man. It's wow. It's really late for you. Thank you so much for joining. It's I'm sorry. I'm sorry it's so late for you. It's just it's very difficult to schedule these to kind of fit everyone's schedule. um, nice. That's a very nice trip. Sounds like a very nice trip, Jack. There are a lot of Australians here because it's I guess it's much closer than anywhere I've been or I've lived so far to Australia. Oh, great! I'm very glad. Very glad you have tomorrow off. That helps. Yeah. Well, um, thank you all so much for joining today. Oh, if you want to, you can send me a message, or you can make a post if you want to. I'd be curious to hear about your trip, Jack. Um, so yeah, so I will let you go because I've already taken up almost 50 minutes of your time. And I'm sure you all have other places to be. Oh, Himeji Castle. Yes, I have still not. We still haven't been there, but that's definitely on our bucket list. We've heard, we've seen it. It just looks very beautiful. Um, yeah. So I'll let you go into your Sunday. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you next month. And of course, I will talk on Patreon as always. Thank you very much for joining me. It's always fun. And thank you for letting me preview some of my album with you, of course. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next time. Bye bye.